Hello, everybody. My name is Kuba, and I'm a customer success manager here at Text. And today I'm joined by a very special guest who was not announced in any of our invitations. It's a surprise for you. It's Łukasz Koszala. Łukasz is a partner of Text. He is the one responsible for the topic of today's webinar. So he will be the best person to tell you everything and anything that you'd like to know about the outbound messages. So few things technical. The webinar is being recorded. We will have it uploaded into our YouTube channel so that you can review it on a later date if needed, or pass it to somebody that actually was not able to attend. We also have the Q&A option enabled here on Zoom. So if you have any questions, it's much easier for us to review them in the QA section than on the webinar chat itself. So if you have any questions throughout the whole webinar, drop them in the QA session. At the end, we'll have some time to spare to answer all of those. And we did get some through the email, so we're going to tackle those along the way as well. If you're typing in on chat, remember that you can choose who you're messaging. So if you want to message us, be sure to include either everyone or hosts and panelists so I can see what you're typing. Cool. I think that's all when it comes to the technicalities. The topic of today's webinar is outbound messages. And we figure out that the best way to start is going to be a sort of a question. When was the last time that you answered a marketing email? Or when was the last time that you called back somebody that left you a voicemail, or you just saw that this, an unanswered call, or somebody tried to reach you and didn't via any sort of calls or emails. So that's where the whole clue of the outbound messaging and what it brings and how it shapes the world that we're in. So, Łukasz, would you mind telling us more about the integration?
Of course, happy to. So first off, Kuba, thank you for having me today, and hello everybody. Today, I'm really excited about the topic of outbound messages, and it's so phenomenal as we work with many clients across the years with messaging platforms now with outbound messages. The results are incredible. Let me just go ahead and share some additional data. Give me just a second. Yep. So as I said, with outbound messages, it's important to understand that the trends and the customer behaviors has shifted throughout the years, right? So I have really interesting stats. Those are actually from Meta from end of last year. That more and more people just wants to engage with brands using messaging platforms, right? If you think about online adults globally, 72% prefer to use platforms like messaging platforms to communicate with businesses. And the same group of people said that 77% of online adults said it builds loyalty, it's better connection to the brands. And I'm sure that you're doing that already right now. So for example, from my experience, just earlier last week, my mom had a birthday, right? So without, overthinking, I ordered the cake using Messenger. So I have my preferred place here in Wrocław when we are currently at. I just messaged the place on Messenger, and I was able to, through the asynchronous communication with half day or so, just order a cake of my liking, and even was able to pay through the Messenger itself, right? The other example is I love running. I'm not very good at it, but I like running. So I recently shopped for running shoes. And, there's so many questions, like about the size, about, whether you're food will fit well, and so on and so on. So on the e-commerce store, there was an option to talk to the store via WhatsApp. So click to WhatsApp basically. So I had a conversation with the brand, with the agent from the brand, asked all those questions, even got a promo code, and completed the I basically bought those
Yeah,
shoes,
completed the
right?
checkout.
Yeah, exactly. So those are just like from my life. I'm sure you have your own. But one thing that stood out recently that I've heard is I don't know when was the last time you were in New York in JFK Airport, but what they did is truly amazing, right? So on those information boards with arrivals, departures, what they did, they included WhatsApp QR codes, right? So basically, instead of looking for someone when you have some doubts, some questions, maybe you're lost, instead of looking for the person who can help you, you can literally just scan a QR code, open a WhatsApp account of the airport, and there's a combo of chatbot and the live person, live agent that can basically help you there, right? So as you can see, more and more people are using messaging platforms to interact with brands. And coming back to the study by Meta, 97%, at least once a week, talk with some business, right? Not the same business, obviously, but when you think about buying something or researching something, the option that you can talk with the brand, with someone from the brand, is priceless, right? And you can see it in stats, right? So if I'm always be comparing, and later on today as well, to emails, like because when you think about outbound, you think about emails, like that's the go-to channel that many of us have used throughout the years. But if you look on, for example, open rates, it's beyond comparison, right? If you think about WhatsApp, Messenger, or even SMS with 85% to 98% compared to open written email, it's beyond, as I say, beyond comparison. And if you dive deeper to click-through rate, like with email, with only 22% open rate and on average 2.6% of CTR, that's just um, such a small amount of clicks or actions taken to your message, right? And on the other hand, when you think about WhatsApp, you have 98% of open rate. Of course, you can send rich messages through messaging platforms. So those call to actions have a CTR of 55%. So this is huge. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited about it, to be honest, because the results we've seen are really, really phenomenal.
So when you have a pipeline of
Hmm.
people that you'd like to reach out to,
Hmm.
and you're using email, not only just 22% of the whole, let's say 1,000
Hmm.
uh, sees the email,
Hmm.
opens the email, but only 2%, 2.6 out of those 22 goes through.
Yeah, precisely.
But with WhatsApp, nearly everybody out of those 1,000 is going to see and read the message,
Yeah.
but half, 25% of those are going to go through with whatever you were sending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So
yeah.
you're losing so much of
Hmm.
the pipeline by just using the emails, because
Hmm.
55% of 98, I'm pretty sure is way above 500 if we're
Yeah.
taking 1,000.
Mhm.
So that's just amazing.
It is. It is. And it's you can use both. You can use email and messaging platforms, but you have to do it consciously, right? You have to know what you want to achieve, right? And the same with platforms. Like you cannot just take one platform that and expect that it will work on all geographies. Every geography has their own kind of favorite messaging platform. So for example, WhatsApp is big in LATAM. In Latin
Oh yeah.
America, it's
Yeah.
really, really big.
Oh,
So
like the Middle East as well.
yes, that's right. And for example, if you take states or even Poland, for instance, Messenger is the platform to go to, right?
True.
And
True.
so on and so on,
Even
right?
even my father recently opened a Facebook account, and I
Hmm.
saw him messaging on WhatsApp. I was like, Geez, that's my dad. And he's getting into messaging at like nearly 60. So well done.
Yeah, exactly. But that's spot on. Basically, the whole reason why we see those stats, and I will share some more in a second, is just because I like to tell the story to all the clients we're working with that messaging platforms are really like emails in the 80s, right? Everyone is excited about getting an email back then. Now everyone is excited about getting the WhatsApp or Messenger message. Of course, if you use it to spam other people, you'll get blocked really, really quickly, right? We'll touch base on that later on. But if you do it in the personalized way, in
Yeah,
the right way, the results are phenomenal, right? Because if you think about it, messaging platform is the place that you interact with your friends and family, right?
true.
And if you do it in a great way as a business, you can be like a holy grail that I always talk with our clients is that you want to be that distant cousin, right? Whatever you're doing. Right? That, for example, if you're selling shoes, you want to be that distant cousin because you're already, for example, in WhatsApp in contact book,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh,
So if you think about it, if you're looking for a shoes, so for example, we met after, let's say, a month or so, and you tell me that you're looking for new shoes. So it can be as easy as me sharing you a contact to the store that I bought shoes recently, saying that the experience was phenomenal. They helped me a lot. So imagine what this can do to the competition, right? If
yeah. Well,
it
word of mouth
exactly.
has I think the biggest part. It works for me because you just mentioned like a few minutes before we started the whole webinar prep the story about the shoes. I was like,
Hmm.
damn, I recently bought shoes and I had to return them
Yeah.
because they didn't fit well. But based on your experience, that's what I should have done. Because
Hmm.
I just went on the website, I chose the ones that I liked the view
Hmm.
of. I chose the size, which was my usual 43 size, but
Hmm.
they were too small.
Yeah.
And it was, uh, I was like this close of just
Hmm.
asking and could have resolved that. That took me like a week of sending package back, getting new ones,
Yeah.
getting a refund. Um,
Yeah, but
and
imagine
I
that.
and I hate phone calls.
Yeah, I
I
know.
hate phone calls. So it was if I am to call somebody, I
Hmm.
would send like maybe I'm gonna send in an email,
Hmm.
but sending a text is much faster.
Yeah.
So for example, me and my fiance are getting married this year,
Hmm.
and we're in the process of getting, rings.
Hmm.
And the lady that we work with to
Hmm.
get them ready,
Yep.
she said, "Okay, Kuba, I'm gonna call you when they're ready." I was, no, no, please don't call me. Send me a text.
Hmm.
Yeah, send me a message. I'm gonna reply much faster than it's gonna take me to just get myself to call you back.
Hmm. But that's the beauty of it because we tend not to call each other nowadays, right? We tend to message each other, right? And also this with messaging platforms, the really powerful thing is that you don't need to be synchronously sitting and talking with someone, right? For the cake example, right? It took us a couple of hours with confirmation with the place to check whether they can deliver on a day that I wanted, etc.,
Yep.
etc. It took a couple of hours, but basically because it's a messaging platform and that's the pattern you used to as an end customer, as a user, it's fine. It's fine. If
It's
you,
it's seamless.
it's
It's
seamless.
seamless. We're
It's
used to that.
exactly
We're
so
messaging our friends, so messaging a customer, a
exactly.
client, or vice versa, messaging a business
Hmm.
is super easy for us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fluent.
Exactly. So everyone should aim for those frictionless, seamless experiences. And coming back to the stats, I wanted to share another study, this one from Shopify, about exactly that, the experiences that you can create, right? So Shopify, as you know, big e-com platform,
Huge.
huge, right? So they have really tasty data, really, right? So with the recent study, also end of last year, they indicated, coming back to my example with shoes, right? If users are given the option to message. They indicated WhatsApp, but really any messaging platform to talk to the agent, to talk with about doubts, about some questions, etc. Staggering 66% of those users who actually started the conversation with someone from the brand actually bought the product. 66%. When I read it the first time, I had to go back and double check if I read it correctly, right? Another great use case, and the second use case is actually the one that we actually right now are implementing with one of our clients, is again e-com, Shopify, right? So one of the biggest maybe problems, maybe situations that you may have is that someone is already a user, they are adding products to the shopping cart, and they just abandoned it for any reason,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
Happens
yeah,
like happened to me last week.
yeah. So also some people just add to the cart just to add to the cart and to review it later
Oh
on,
yeah,
right?
or let's just see a price of whatever that was.
Exactly, exactly. So usual, like I mentioned before, usual way to re-engage with customers would be to send an email, right? Which is on average about 4% conversion to go back to the shopping, to the abandoned shopping cart, right? What they noticed is that when using Messenger in this particular example, it went up to 11%. So imagine if you can triple,
Triple.
yeah, the conversion rate of abandoned cart. So yeah, it is phenomenal. You see results, you see in the studies all over the place, right? Um, and to share some of the my favorite examples of actually studies of brands that do it well, I've prepared two examples for you today.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
So today, of course, I think it's a well-known brand where in travel. So they were seeking a new way to engage with different audiences to better communicate with their audiences, and they chose to experiment with WhatsApp, right? So they did tests in Netherlands and in Belgium, and compared to emails, again, the open rate was, depending on the country, 5 to 7 times higher than in email. So this on itself is incredible. As I mentioned before, you can have a call to action. You can have rich messages with media, videos, images, etc., etc. And going back to, for example, landing pages or to talk with the agent, there's a lot of flexibility that you can have. They were driving traffic to their website, so the traffic more than doubled, right?
That's great.
Um, but my favorite example is actually the next one with Hyundai, in particular Hyundai Brazil. So what they did is truly remarkable because they used all the tools that Meta provided. So
Hmm.
they started with ads because I don't know if you know, in Meta ecosystem, you can run ads that click to WhatsApp, click to
Yeah,
Messenger,
yeah, yeah.
so basically, when you see the ad, when you click and you have live chat with particular channel, the end user is already talking with either chatbot or with agent
Hmm.
on live chat with again seamless and frictionless experience because they're on their favorite platform. They seen an ad, um, and that's basically what they did. They run ads that click to talking with the agent, then use outbound messages to retarget the same users, right? Um, Long story short, the sales rate was higher 4 times, right, compared to the usual way emails and phone calls, right? The cost per lead also decreased 13%, right? So like I said, this is my favorite example because they thought it through what's their customer journey, the buyer's journey really, and how they can use tools available for them, right?
Yeah, and if I think of that, because um, when I take my phone, I have
Hmm.
emails, of course, Gmail connected on my
Hmm.
phone. I have WhatsApp, I have Telegram, I have Messenger,
Hmm.
all of them, and I'm getting like the notifications looked exactly the same for
Hmm.
any single one of those.
Hmm.
But if I see an email, I'm gonna see that later.
Hmm.
I swap to the right, and I'm probably never
Hmm.
gonna see that. But if I see a message
Hmm.
coming through like Messenger, I'm instantly clicking and checking what's that.
Yeah,
So
that
for me
yeah.
as an end user, I really vibe with the outbound messages because I can see from my daily usage
Hmm.
how much more engaged I am with messaging platforms than with emails.
Hmm. Exactly. But with Hyundai is also another layer because it's not basic groceries.
Oh, oh no, oh
You're
no.
buying a car. So that's why I really love this example because the decision-making process is really, really long. It's
True.
here is Hyundai. Maybe you're thinking about other make of the car. Like maybe it's too expensive for you. Maybe, there might be any other reason. We're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about big cash here,
financials.
right?
God damn.
So, so that's what, like I said, I really like this example because if you think of it, you are now exploring. So as a customer journey, right? You're exploring what kind of car. Maybe you're decided on Hyundai, maybe not. You see the ad because ad targeted you, like
True.
you
True.
know, cookies somewhere. You know how it works. And then you started talking with someone, right? And also that takes into consideration that you're talking with someone who knows how to sell. Um, but it's a really good qualified lead at this point, right? And then you're sitting in that person inbox on Messenger, right? You can unbound message them,
Yeah.
right? You can, for example, the conversation might be in the direction that, hey, I'm looking for the car. This Hyundai Kona is kind of expensive for me.
It looks good.
But looks good.
It looks good.
Yeah, I'm driving one.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I use that
Damn.
example. But maybe it's on the pricey end of the budget of the person. So the salesperson can, so okay, so what's your expectation? And for example, I have to check what cars are available, right?
Mm.
And imagine that the next day the same sales guy, the same sales rep come back to you on your message inbox, basically, messenger inbox, with your options available in your city that you can maybe, and they already said to you, hey, I've booked already a test drive.
Oh wow.
No obligations. So imagine the level of service you can achieve here.
Yeah, much
Um,
more personalized,
exactly.
straight to the point. You're like from end user perspective, you're getting exactly what you want.
Exactly. Exactly. It's as if in that way you have kind of your personal assistant focus on getting a new car, right? And we all know how that's a win-win situation. Like you don't have to do a lot to do that, but then you have someone who actually cares about you. You know that he or she wants to sell it, but still the personal touch here, the experience of frictionless, the seamless experience here that you have allows you to actually do maybe take that test run. And once you there you see all those cars, maybe you drove one, the decision making is really, really simple, right?
Okay, so how about you show us how they look in action?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked. So of course, everything what I just said is available already in LiveChat, right? It's either through LiveChat platform or via the API. The API I will cover a little bit later on when I'll be talking about conversational experiences. But from the user interface, it's really, really straightforward. So once you get outbound messages, in Engage section, you will see outbound messages, and you can, when creating the campaign, you will see you will have to choose which channel you'd like to
Hmm.
use for the particular campaign, right? So right now, WhatsApp and Messenger are available. More are coming on this year, right? So let's say we chose Facebook Messenger. So many of the clients have multiple Facebook pages, right? It can be different brands with the same company. It can be multiple fan pages, etc., etc. So you have to choose from which fan page on Facebook you'll be sending the campaign. It works the same with other channels. So, for example, in WhatsApp, you can have multiple business numbers,
Hmm.
maybe different for geography. Then you would have to choose which number is actually sending the campaign, right? Which brand, right?
If I may stop you for a second,
Yep.
because we got a question that fits in here
Yeah, go
very,
for it.
very well. So the question is, I'm assuming you need to integrate both WhatsApp and Messenger to your live chat for outbound messages to work with these platforms.
Yes, so you can choose. So, like I mentioned, right now, Messenger and WhatsApp are available. In the future, still this year, it'll be Telegram, Instagram, and SMS. So
Cool.
you don't have to have all of them installed. You can have
Hmm.
all of them in the same license if you'd like, if you have really diverse omni-channel on your hands. But you can choose just to focus on one, right? And then grow as you learn how to send really great campaigns, right? That convert. Um, so yeah, you have to have at least one channel fully configured, and then you can use that to send messages. Okay, so here let's go back to choosing the Facebook page. Let's say
Sure.
we chose one, and here is when the magic happens, right? So as I mentioned, you can send beautifully crafted, rich messages with images, videos, headers, the actual body of the message, multiple CTAs, depending on what's your use case. But the true power comes with personalization, right? Because what you want to achieve with the campaign is that personal touch,
Yeah.
like really,
Yeah.
right? So name is obvious one. So of course you will know all the names of your customers because I will talk about it in a second. But whenever someone reaches out to you, LiveChat will store the name and all the data that is provided by the channel, right? But the true beauty is that you can add more custom variables, custom fields
Hmm.
to the customer, right? So let's imagine that, for example, you're an e-com brand, and you can store the previous
Card value?
yeah, for example, or previous product, I wanted to say, and you can send a follow-up campaign like, "Hi, Kuba, thanks for purchasing those incredible Nike shoes. Maybe I will,
Now I need socks
yeah,
to run in those
exactly.
shoes.
Exactly. And yeah, if you're for example, a SaaS business, you can here store what kind of plan you are, right? So uh, I don't know, maybe campaign for your VIP clients who has your silver plan, like, or gold plan. So whatever your business is, you can use custom fields to have that customer record and then use it in the campaign to make it more and more personal, right? Um, so once you send a message, you have to choose segment or segments. So basically a group of, I will cover segment in the second, but basically the audience to whom you want to send it. And you have a preview available for you for some, like in Gmail undo, so you can still go back and fix something. And basically if you hit send here, that's how it would look on Facebook Messenger. So basically, it's a screenshot of my own account on the web version, on the mobile version, on the mobile app. It will look very very similar. So look at the seamless is to actually just right below the thumb to actually click the CDO. I think that's one of the reasons. Like, okay, I see the message. Let's explore it, right? So.
Whenever I see anybody mention Mother's Day is coming, is just around the corner, I'm like, did I already forgot? Did this
Don't panic.
happen?
Don't panic. There's still time.
Okay, thank God.
So yeah, reports. Reports is a big thing. So once you send it, you will be able to see the reports about all the campaigns, the channels, the stats. The stats that are important, as we all know. Um, and the fun part about that, you will be able to see send, schedule, because you can schedule for the particular day. You can save drafts when you want to finish later, etc. Everything that we would expect out of this kind of systems.
Yeah, let the Mother Days one, if it reached me like a week before, it will be like saving grace.
Yeah, exactly. With open rate, I will dive in a second, but with open rate, this will change, of course, because when, for example, we would send campaign today, it will take maybe hours, maybe days for someone to read it. So this number will settle at some point, but it will change as customers will interact, right? So, and this is my favorite view, to be honest, because it's a report of the exact campaign. So not only you will see who sent the campaign, when, which channel, which page, what was the message all about, but you will see the entire funnel. right?
Hmm.
So how many recipients were there to begin with? To whom it was sent, to whom it failed to send, because someone maybe with whom we interacted a week ago now have deleted Messenger. That happens, right? Or you have to gain opt-ins, by the way, to be able to reach the customers, and maybe they opted out for some reason, right? Whatever is the case, other messages will be sent, then delivered, opened, and it's not here on the screenshot, but we also released responded, right? So we will have, and it's already available in LiveChat. So you will have the entire view of the entire funnel available to you. So you can see, for example, whether a message is good, whether it meets, rewriting in the future, right? You can do some A/B testing if you like with more and more campaigns. So here you will have all the data that you need to have, right? That's my favorite view. And I promise you to mention about audiences and segments, right?
Yep.
So this one is also very important. So this is the view that you will have all the customers, right? So by all customers, I mean all customers that reach out to you um, by multiple channels, and you will able to see where they're from, which channel, when were they last seen. And here with filtering, you can create segments, right? So basically, to my previous examples, right? Whether you want to have VIP clients, so you can filter them out like WhatsApp, and with custom variables, that plan is premium, let's say,
Hmm.
and you can save the segment. And later on, when you'll be sending campaigns, you don't have to browse through all those contacts. You will actually select the segment or segments if you'd like, and the campaign will be on its way, right?
So a question here that we got from Karen
Mhm.
is, do customers have to sign up to receive messages on Messenger or other channels? So basically, do they have to agree to receive them?
Yeah, they do have to, but it's channel specific. So, for example, with WhatsApp, they are not checking whether customers opted in, and they agree that the customer could have opted in beyond the platform. Meaning that, for example, when you're creating a, I don't know, customer record in your system, right? The checkbox, like, that will processing you, it's just
Hmm.
enough,
Okay.
right? But also if, for example, with e-com that you have physical locations, like when you go approach me and you buy actually the Nike shoes, and I ask you, hey, can you leave me your phone number? I will be sending you some follow-up WhatsApp messages. And if you agree verbally, that's also acceptable for WhatsApp, right? It's just because WhatsApp has a quite complicated in a way um, verification process,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So if you're, for example, a new company, they will limit you the number of outbound you can send to 250. If you're not spamming people, basically they will increase that limit to 1,000, to 10,000, to 10,000, 100,000, and then unlimited, right? So basically they will be kind of watching how you're behaving
Oh
and
yeah.
whether or not you're getting reported or blocked, right? Um, and apart from that, when sending, you can just send. So for example, you could not see that here, but with WhatsApp, you can select segments, but also you can just copy paste your phone numbers, and the campaign will be sent as well, assuming that you
Hmm.
have some kind of, agreement, opt-in from that person, right? The last thing, believe me, the last thing you want to do is to send a marketing message to someone that is not expecting that, because they will just really block you really
True.
quickly,
Yeah.
right? So you don't want to spam people. You want to interact with them. Then the more personal you get, the better. For example, Facebook Messenger on the other hand, you have to have opt-in
Okay.
within the system. So basically, the way it works, when, for example, you're a brand and I'm the customer, and I have a question. Let's say you have an e-com store, right? So I see again shoes. I click on Messenger and talking with you. You're Nike in that scenario. So hi Nike, and I have a question about those shoes. So that opens up a 24-hour service window,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So within that service window, you can send me an opt-in request. So basically, and you can configure how this opt-in looks like. It'll be a rich message, and you can configure that in LiveChat. So basically, it's up to you how this opt-in will look like. So maybe opt-in can say, hey, are you interested with promotions later on after this purchase, right? And let's say that I agree that from that point on, you can send outbound messages, right? So like I said, different platforms have different rules. There's no single way to have opt-in, but always apart from opt-in itself, the golden rule is when someone expects the message, they won't block you, they won't report you, they will be happy to receive that message, right? If they don't expect, they are very likely to get annoyed, right? So you have to keep that in mind because outbound messages are really powerful because you can send a lot of messages at scale.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest clients that we have right now sends 700,000 of messages only on one of the platforms, and they have two platforms a
Oh, wow.
month, right?
A
So,
month.
so yeah, with great power comes great responsibility,
Possibility.
right?
Yeah.
So, you have to just keep that in mind.
So a question that would perfectly fill in here about the scale, is there a limit of number of messages that can be sent?
No,
There is not.
no. The only limit that you can have is on meta side, right? To
Mhm.
my previous example, right? But if you go all the way that ladder to unlimited, there is no limit, right? Of course, if you start getting reported, Meta can bump you
Drop you
down.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, because hey, something's fishy about your messages, you're getting reported. So we will temporarily restrict the number of messages you can send and it's within 24-hour period of time,
Okay.
right? So when I was talking about those 250 in the beginning, it's 250 daily, right? So
Oh, wow.
still
That's still plenty.
it
It
is.
is
It
plenty.
is. To
Still
be honest,
plenty.
I was a little bit surprised. Of course, you have to have a lot of steps to get to
Mhm.
those higher tiers. So, for example, you have to verify your business. To verify your business on Meta, you have to provide documents like legal documents that you're a legitimate business that is actually registered in that country. So it takes like just a couple of days, but that's how they verify if you're not a spammer or scammer. That's
True.
the best shot of that, right?
Okay, let's move on. What else do you have for us?
Okay, so I promised conversational experience,
Yeah.
right? So conversational experience, I have a little video prepared for you guys today, but it's basically the combination of sending personalized messages when it matters on the customer journey. It's basically those examples that I shared at the very beginning of today with Shopify reports, right? So when you added, products to the cart, and then, so you're on some kind of customer journey already. That's the perfect way, the perfect place to actually start engaging in the personalized way. So the example that I want to share with you is actually from the trading broker, right?
Oh, wow.
So
So literally anybody can use them.
yes, so in this particular example, you have a person that is registering to the trading app, right? So it's a whole customer journey when you register to the app, then receive a WhatsApp message. And basically what the brand is doing is moving you, navigating you through the learning experience, through the entire onboarding. Onboarding is quite complicated because you have to provide some documents like proof of ID.
Mhm.
So they're sending you reminders because they know at what stage of the journey you're currently at. So can use that to send personalized messages. So let's say there was a reminder for after 1 day, after 3 days, and you're hesitant because you have to provide your ID, upload your ID to some platform, right? So you can click to talk with the agent and then have a informed conversation about how secure it is, how the data will be used, whether it meets some regulations. And if you're confident, you can just click and again be redirected directly to the app, right? Directly to the place that you want to be and move forward to the journey, like confirmation, like account activation, trading opportunities. Some companies would like you to start trading right away, maybe demo accounts. So basically build that trust from the very beginning on the onboarding process, right? And guiding you through all the steps needed to see the results, and also to be like safe, yeah, knowing what to do
Yeah.
because everything will be new to you, right? Especially if you never used trading before, right? So one thing that is really important also from the business perspective is that in that particular example with that trading app, you're also aiming to reduce customer acquisition cost, right? Because you can add also ads that click to WhatsApp or to um, your app that then integrates with WhatsApp. It's like a full journey for that person, right? And also conversion rate, right? How many people drops at, for example, when they need to add the document. So this conversational reinforcements really drives the results, right?
Very cool. Okay. Thank you very much, Łukasz. I see that we are slowly, and I mean, we have technically
Hmm.
1 minute still scheduled, running out of time, but we do have some questions to go through. Can we do an outbound message without the option for the client to text back to us, just with a button to follow the link?
Yes. So you can have multiple types of call to actions. It can be a link. So basically, clicking the link, they will be redirected to the app, to the whatever the link follows to. But if they decide not to click to anything and just reply to you, you will see the reply, right? Um, but what I would encourage you to do is to add a chatbot
Mhm.
in that particular scenario. If you don't want to engage every single time with every single conversation, it's actually what most of our clients do. They they connect chatbot to the messaging platform and then have an option to escalate to the live agent, right? So yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you very much. There was another question. Outbound messages on Facebook Messenger, does it include Instagram? And based on the last slide, the Instagram is still on the way.
It's still on the way. So
Okay.
we are very dedicated to still this year to include Instagram, Telegram, and SMS, right? Because it's not just the channel. The channel is one thing, but what we're creating here with Outbound Messages, it's actually an ecosystem of a little bit of a CRM, a little bit of a campaign tool, a little bit of the API that you can create the entire journey. So you would need to be a patient a little bit,
Mhm.
but all three channels for sure will be available this year, and we will announce all new channels available on the platform.
Okay. Another one from Nicole. What if we are managing lots of e-shops as one company? So I guess
Mhm.
the question is, how do you operate with multiple brands through the outbound
Yeah,
messages?
that's actually very common case with us, right? So, and it's really simple because each brand can have for WhatsApp each individual number that all the messages can be redirected to different group. Let's say the group in LiveChat would have a brand name. So it's very consistent from your team's point of view to which brand this particular chat, this particular message or the conversation came from. The same with Facebook Messenger, right? Because there are fan pages, every fan page can be literally different brand. And
Okay.
again, you can direct the messages from that fan page to yet another group in live chat, and then you can have agents, depending on your business, have agents that they will actually see from which group it originated. Also, all the customers' data will be available as well. So yeah, it's a very common case and it's covered.
Okay. Question from Cynthia. Since phone numbers are not collected in our live chat pre-chat form, how does the app obtain them without integrating with our website or CRM?
So there are a couple of options, right? So you can, in a way, automatically inject through the API to
Mhm.
the customer record. You can basically ask the customer about the phone number and add it to the record. Many clients, as a way of getting opt-in, actually when talking through the widget to the customer, asking them, hey, can I message you, start messaging you on WhatsApp? Or for example, if that's a support case, agent can say like, hey, I will get back to you um, at the end of the day, the latest. Can you leave me your phone number and I will send the update, status update there. And then from that point on, you can, I didn't cover that today, but you can use either mass messaging with outbound messages as I showed
Mhm.
today, but also you can just send one-to-one message to that person, and then the record is created in live chat as well.
Very cool.
So yeah.
Okay, a few more questions. Those were actually delivered to me personally before the webinar, so thank
Go
you
for
very
it.
much. What are the best practices for using WhatsApp and Messenger to promote iGaming businesses, tournaments, and special events?
Okay.
Because I don't know if our audience knows, but Łukasz as a partner is not only managing and developing the integrations, but he is also a consultant. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he has brand knowledge, experience, industry knowledge. So please, what
Yeah.
could you share about us?
Yeah, so with gambling tournaments, but also trading brokers, digital currencies, and so on, it's Meta has a special place for those
Oh
businesses
wow.
in a way that in some countries there is no problem about it at all. In some, it's I would say the gray area. They're not forbidden, but if you have some missteps, you can get banned, right? But not automatically, right? So basically, if you're thinking about what we just said, personalized message, utility message rather than marketing message, the tournament, announcement might be a good thing if the people that you're sending it to actually expect that, right? Because as I mentioned before, Meta is very keen on checking whether or not you're spamming
You're spamming
people.
people, yeah.
Yeah. So if you put yourself in a situation when you can get blocked, if you're really at the very beginning of that journey with, building the credibility, you can get banned, right? But if you had some utility messages before, maybe implemented the conversational experience in any ways, and you're higher on that ladder, Meta will just send you warning. Hey, you're getting reported. Like, stop doing that.
Something's not right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it all depends how much credibility you build. So with those kind of businesses, what I always recommend is just build that credibility with Meta week by week, month by month first, before sending a mass marketing messages, right?
Okay. So a follow-up to this one would
hmm
be how can outbound messages be optimized to prevent spam filtering while
hmm
maximizing the reach and conversion?
So again, when someone expects the message, it tends to convert better. That's well, like a grand rule. But Meta, of course, have some spam filters, but they rely really, really heavily, as I mentioned, in whether or not you're getting reported. But before that, whether or not your message is being seen.
Hmm.
So if you send irrelevant from the user point of view messages and they don't interact with that, they can
Okay.
pause your sending of your marketing campaign. Let's say your marketing campaign was for 100,000 messages. So it takes some time to send all of them, right? And Meta will batch them into pieces and in the way test whether or not they're being opened, whether or not you're getting blocked. And as you go, they'll be sent, right? Um, so again, you have to build the credibility and then just experiment because Meta won't do you harm if you have that credibility. Will just say to you, hey, the wording seems not right. So we'll stop your campaign, check the wording. So Meta will actually help you to have better results. Not
Okay.
charge you for all the messages in one go, but just say, hey, people are not opening, people are not interacting. So we won't send the rest of the messages that you're scheduled to send. Fix your wording and then send the other campaign, right?
Okay. Can these messaging channels be routed or integrated under a single live chat license while supporting multiple groups?
Of course, of course. That's how they've built from the very beginning. So you can have all the channels if you'd like, and within the channels you can have multiple numbers, Facebook pages. Once we will include Instagram accounts, Telegram bots, and so on and so on. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. I think I don't see any more on the chat or neither in the Q&A session. So thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
me today, Łukasz.
The
It was
pleasure is all mine.
outstanding. Outbound messages are currently available in LiveChat's marketplace. You can find them under the link that I sent in chat. I earlier posted a link directly to Łukasz website, so you can check them out and bring them some love. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. Thank you for staying over those couple of minutes that we tackled the questions. And
thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
thank you, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.